The Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force is investigating a shooting incident that resulted in the death of 37-year-old Dwight Jacobs Greenaway of Buckley's Estate, commonly known as Mac 11. Between the hours of 10 p.m. and 11 p.m. on June 15th, police responded to a report of gunshots heard at the Samuel Williams Playfield in Fairchilds, St. Kitts. Upon arrival at the playfield, Mr. Greenaway was found lying motionless on the ground with multiple gunshot wounds about his body. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Preliminary reports suggest that he was attacked by more than one armed assailant. The crime scene unit processed the scene and collected items of evidential value. An investigation into the incident is ongoing, and the public will be kept appropriately informed. The Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force, in a press release, said it expressed sincere condolences to all who have been negatively impacted by this incident. Mac 11's death brings the homicide toll for St. Kitts and Nevis in 2023 to 17. I'm Andre Huey for SKN Newsline.
Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew will become the new chairman of the OECS authority when it meets in St. Kitts and Nevis for its 73rd meeting of the sub-regional body. The Sunday, 18th June opening ceremony will kickstart a week of activities held under the theme Vision, Integration, Sustainability as the sub-region commemorates the 42nd anniversary of the founding of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, when its leaders signed the Treaty of Bastia on the ground floor of the government quarters on Church Street. According to Prime Minister Drew, the authority will consider several pressing matters and certain decisions will have to be made.
I had the opportunity to sit with the Director General, Dr. Didicus, and where we went through a number of critical things. And in looking at the agenda, we are looking at energy, violence in the region, and so forth. And so how we can reach regional positions with respect to that. So in broad terms, we have not publicly publicized it, but I can say that those, to me, would be some critical matters on the agenda for us to look at, because there are some regional organizations that managed by the OECS. We have embassies that we look at. How can the OECS increase its footprint with respect to that? And the issue of energy security, what is the approach of the OECS? With respect to violence, what is the approach of the OECS? With respect to the judiciary and our legal system, what is the approach of the OECS as a collective? So in essence, we are looking at these critical matters that are coming to the agenda of the OECS. So it's an extensive agenda because of when we meet and we are going to be dealing. But for my discussions with the DG, these are some significant areas to be. And the leaders and the representative would be here. We really need this meeting to make some critical decisions with respect to regional institutions and our approach regionally in dealing with a number of these issues.
Also to be at the meeting are St. Kitts and Nevis' Minister of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Denzel Douglas, OECS Director General, Dr. Didicus Jules, and ECCB Governor, Mr. Timothy Antoine. Glenn Bart reporting for SKN Newsline.
Music's finest artists converge in Bastia from June 22nd to June 24th for the 25th hosting of the St. Kitts Music Festival. Hitting the festival main stage will be Skillibeng, Chronix, Coffee, Byron Messiah, Anthony B, Governor, Romain Virgo, TJ, Valiant.
Them boy don't got no vibes.
Grand Masters, Collision Band, Small X Band, New Vibes Band International, Mr. Bagdal, Akayu Sweet, Preedy, Guess the Band, Ricardo Drew, Patrice Roberts, Skinny Fabulous, Nyla Blackman, Static. Erica Edwards, 313 Family, Gramps Morgan, Nitra B, Ear Supply, Dexter Daps, and Burner Boy. It's the 25th edition of the St. Kitts Music Festival from June 22nd to June 24th at Warner Park. An experience like no other. Tickets are now available at stkittsmusicfestival.com.
It's beautiful. He took one look at you and the angels started singing.
Another wonderful day.
Ah!
What would you say about staying here for a few months or like a year, just so that we can be together again and just live and love and laugh and have fun and breathe?
Why are you hiding out on a little Caribbean island, singing in a beach bar?
When I came here, I was at peace, and I never left.
This is the beating heart of Nevis. This is what grounds me, what feeds my soul. It's where I found myself.
I hope your life here will be full of joy. Love this island, my son. She will give you more than you can imagine.
Minister Iselin Philip, who has ministerial responsibility for persons with disabilities, will be in Berlin, Germany, not only supporting the St. Kitts and Nevis Special Olympics team taking part in the 2023 Special Olympics World Games, she will also be participating in the Global Forum for Inclusion. Coming out of the recently held cabinet meeting, Cabinet Secretary Dr. Marcus Natter reported on the minister's engagement in Berlin at the Global Forum.
This forum will bring together Special Olympics athletes, youth leaders, heads of state, heads of government, ministers, intergovernmental organizations, civil society, researchers, and the private sector, with the goal of driving initiatives on inclusion forward and shifting the global conversation on inclusion from policy to action.
The 2023 Special Olympics World Summer Games will be the 16th Special Olympics being held in Berlin, Germany. With just hours to go before the opening ceremony, the St. Kitts and Nevis Special Olympics team appears to be confident leading into the next 8 days from 17 to the 25th June 2023. Glenn Bart reporting for SKN Newsline.
The St. Kitts Music Festival has announced the inaugural Praise Fest, a gospel concert that will uplift the soul, on Sunday, June 18th at 5 p.m. on the Antioch Baptist Church grounds. The concert will feature local and regional talent, Paige Gums, Blestina, M1, Tehila Band, and The Roots Band, along with headlining Jamaican gospel artist Jermaine Edwards. Praise Fest, they say, promises an evening of divine melodies and spiritual inspiration. Edwards is known for his hit songs Peace in My Soul, Don't Count Me Out, and My Champion. His viral rendition of Beautiful Day has touched the hearts of fans around the world. Paige Gums, Blestina, M1, Tehila Band, and Roots Band are renowned local gospel sensations, captivating audiences with their exceptional talent and heartfelt performances. They have been household names, consistently spreading joy and hope through their inspirational and uplifting music. Minister of Tourism, Marsha Henderson, in a press release from the music festival, expressed her excitement for this extraordinary gathering of gospel performers. Praise Fest is just one of the key highlights leading up to the 25th anniversary of the St. Kitts Music Festival, a celebration of musical diversity that unites locals and visitors alike. Praise Fest isn't just a concert, it's a spiritual journey that brings people together. We'll praise, worship, and create unforgettable memories that strengthen our faith and brings us closer to God. Tickets for Praise Fest are available from Bevan's Enterprises on 4th Street and members of the Antioch Baptist Church, as well as online at www.antiochbaptistskn.org. I'm Andre Huey for SKN Newsline.
Music's finest artists converge in Bastia from June 22nd to June 24th for the 25th hosting of the St. Kitts Music Festival. Hitting the festival main stage will be Skillibeng, Chronix, Coffee, Byron Messiah, Anthony B, Governor, Romaine Virgo, TJ, Valiant.
Them boy don't got no body.
Grand Masters, Collision Band, Small X Band, New Vibes Band International, Mr. Bagdal, Akai You Sweet, Preedy, Guess the Band, Ricardo Drew, Patrice Roberts, Skinny Fabulous, Nyla Blackman, Status. Erica Edwards, 313 Family, Gramps Morgan, Nitra B, Ear Supply, Dexter Daps, and Burner Boy. It's the 25th edition of the St. Kitts Music Festival from June 22nd to June 24th at Warner Park. An experience like no other. Tickets are now available at stkidsmusicfestival.com.
It's beautiful. He took one look at you and the angels started singing.
Another wonderful day.
What would you say about staying here for a few months or like a year, just so that we can be together again and just live and love and laugh and have fun and breathe?
Why are you hiding out on a little Caribbean island, singing in a beach bar?
When I came here, I was at peace, and I never left.
This is the beating heart of Nevis. This is what grounds me, what feeds my soul. It's where I found myself.
I hope your life here will be full of joy. Love this island, my son. She will give you more than you can imagine.
And following the killing of 8-year-old Daniel, the death penalty debate is back on the front burner. Jamila Maitland has details.
The abduction and the killing of 8-year-old Daniel Rowe has yet again sparked debates on harsher penalties for child killers, including the death penalty. Little Daniel's case, however, is not a capital murder, and so the death penalty does not apply.
It has to be accompanied by a felony. So if it is a rape and then killing, then it's capital, because it's a felony has been committed in pursuance of the killing. Because only one person died at one time, it does not qualify for capital murder. What you may need to do is for Parliament to legislate that the killing of children becomes now capital murder.
But if a bill comes to the Parliament for the death penalty for child killers, would the lawmakers support it?
Not just child killer. I voted against the penalty here because I thought it was barbaric. So not only for child killer, but any bill that comes here to reintroduce capital punishment, I'll be the first person to vote for it.
I myself decided that I will donate blood to her. It didn't reach fast enough, you know, she succumbed to her injuries. And I strongly support the death penalty. You know, if you're going to hurt a vulnerable child in our society, what could that child have done?
Generally speaking, I don't support the death penalty in terms of just a principle. But I know that, especially at this time, I wouldn't want to make that decision. When you see crimes as heinous as this, and I mean, it really tugs at your heartstring, your initial reaction is to do that. So I'd have to look at it a little bit more.
Member of Parliament Michael Phillips says lawmakers have been too reactive to crimes against children.
I know it is us as parliamentarians, as lawmakers, to make the laws, to make it more stringent. But in this case, it is the government that will have to carry that bill to Parliament. And I'm sure they will get support from both sides of the House, or most of us in the House. No, they will certainly get my support.
We speak quite passionately when it happens, but we have to do something, and that I know there's direct responsibility to legislators.
Jamila Maitland, TVJ News.
Leader of the opposition, Alan Chasney, is in high spirits following a Privy Council ruling stating that the laws of England should be applied rather than the laws of St. Lucia in cases involving contracts and torts. The matter is related to a defamation lawsuit brought before the High Court over statements made by Chasney in 2015 about Saudi billionaire Walid Jufali and allegations of corruption against Hilaire while he served as St. Lucia's High Commissioner to the UK.
In my statements, I said that given those facts, we would have to question Hilaire's integrity. Those remarks were made in 2015. And then in 2017, Hilaire decided to take me to court on defamation.
The ruling was challenged before the Eastern Caribbean Court of Appeal, and then once more, this time before the Privy Council. On Tuesday afternoon, the Privy Council's ruling was announced, and Chasney quickly took to a local talk show to voice his relief.
We appealed the case, and the case went to the OECS Appeals Court, and the Appeals Court overruled the decision of the High Court and ruled that our interpretation of the law was correct. And Hilaire then decided to appeal that position, that decision, and went to the Privy Council. And we've now won the Privy Council case. So it means both a Caribbean Court of Judges, the Appeals Court of the OECS, as well as the Privy Council, have agreed with our application of the law. And I think it's the right decision.
The official Privy Council conclusion reads, quote, "The board will humbly advise His Majesty that the appeal should be dismissed." End quote. Newsforce made attempts to contact the deputy leader of the St. Lucia Labour Party, Dr. Ernest Hilaire, for comment, but was unsuccessful. However, a missive from Dr. Hilaire was published. In it, he bemoans the Privy Council's ruling, stating, quote, "I strongly think it is an unfortunate decision for our country, and it undermines the legal jurisprudence of St. Lucia, and indeed exposes lawyers in St. Lucia to professional negligence lawsuits for advising their clients on what they thought was the proper law of the land." End quote. It should be noted that the Privy Council's decision is final. Crucially, the substantive matter of whether the opposition leader Alan Chasney defamed Dr. Ernest Hilaire has not been argued and decided upon by the courts. What was decided by the Privy Council is what laws will govern that trial. Hilaire closed off his press release by stating, quote, "As it relates to my case against Alan Chasney, I will be consulting my lawyers on the next steps in the hearing." End quote.
Rescuers are continuing their search off the coast of Greece for victims of a boat that has claimed the lives of at least 79 migrants. Hundreds are thought to have been on board this ship, which is travelling, we think, between Tobruk in Libya and Italy, and it capsized around 80 kilometres southwest of Pylos in Greece. The bodies of some of those who have drowned have been brought to the port of Kalamata, where some 100 or so survivors are also being treated. Our Europe correspondent Nick Beak has the very latest from Greece.
The true scale of this disaster is not yet known, but it's clear it's extremely bad. More than 100 people were rescued, but survivors claim up to 700 people were on board the boat when it began to sink. And this was the vessel, packed in the deepest part of the Mediterranean Sea. No one seemingly wearing a life jacket.
It is indeed a tragic situation, a very difficult situation with a very large number of shipwrecked people. A number I think we haven't faced in the past to such an extent. I'm afraid the number of victims will be higher because the number of people on board was much higher than the capacity that should be allowed for this boat.
Those aboard are thought to have set out from Libya and were heading for Italy. The Greek Coast Guard said they approached the boat, but their offer of help was rejected.
We are shocked. We are shocked, like everyone in Greece. Obviously, after we were informed of this incident, all services were mobilised. The municipality of Kalamata, healthcare, etc. We have prepared. We are hearing that, unfortunately, the number of dead is increasing.
But as Greece's president visited the scene, a charity that supports migrants was accusing the Greek authorities of knowing about the boat being in distress for hours before going to its aid. The disaster has prompted more calls for a joint effort to reduce the number of crossings.
This is yet another example of the need of member states to come together and create orderly, safe pathways for people forced to flee and for comprehensive action to save lives at sea and reduce perilous journeys.
Here in Greece, a search and rescue operation has gone on throughout Wednesday, but hope of finding more survivors evaporated pretty quickly. More than 70,000 people have reached Europe so far this year by boat, and the worry is that with the weather continuing to be good and as we reach the height of summer, more people, despite this tragedy, will attempt the treacherous journey. A journey that continues to claim the lives of so many people, desperate to reach Europe, believing they'll find a better life. Nick Beak, BBC News, Athens.
Live now to Daphne Tollis, who is in Athens. Daphne, we heard from Nick there that, you know, the likelihood is that there will be more people who are trying to make this really perilous journey as the weather remains fine. Shipwrecks, drownings, they've become commonplace tragedies in this area of water. How is the atmosphere on the ground in Greece at the moment?
Well, as you probably know, Greece has been at the forefront of this refugee or migrant crisis since 2015. But the route from North Africa to Italy, which now we are seeing is becoming more frequent through the central Mediterranean, is the deadliest in the world, according to the International Organization for Migration. So at the moment, Greece's Take Care Prime Minister declared a 3-day of national mourning. And he said that everyone's thoughts are with and all the victims of the ruthless traffickers who take advantage of human misery. So as we see, people are here in Greece, at least, they are pointing to the smugglers, the human traffickers that actually put those people on the boats, on unseaworthy vessels, and basically leave them to travel in international waters in unseaworthy vessels, and sometimes, or most of the times, without life jackets.
So why is it that it is the deadliest passage in the world? Is it to do with the the stretch of water itself, or is it to do with the fact that there isn't an action plan in place for vessels that are in distress, or is it a lack of a safe pathway politically between the countries bordering this region? I mean, what are the major problems here? Why are so many people dying?
Well, this is a big discussion, but definitely all these factors that you mentioned are valid, basically. So it's, of course, a political decision of providing a safe passage. But with many countries in the EU not bearing the cost of this human migration or the refugee pathways that has seen more than 1 million people crossing only in 2015 from the Turkish coast to Greece and then to other countries in the EU. This means that other legal pathways that were or are available are not chosen, are not the option. So most people resort to the smugglers, which promise a safe, well, I don't know, they promise a route, or they guarantee that they will get these people, these desperate people. Sometimes, they're escaping Syria, Afghanistan, other conflict areas. They are promising them that they will take them to Greece, which is in the European Union, and then from then on to other countries.
Daphne, we're going to have to leave it there for the moment, but I know bodies are still being pulled out of the water and people being treated on the coastline. So thank you very much for that. I'm sure we will end up returning to this story when we have a little bit more information. Thank you.
Former President Trump was defiant last night, hours after his arrest on federal criminal charges related to his handling of classified documents.
Today we witnessed the most evil and heinous abuse of power in the history of our country.
At his New Jersey golf club, hundreds of supporters, including major Republican donors, sang happy birthday to Trump, who turned 77 today. Trump recited what is likely to be his legal argument in the case, falsely claiming that he could keep classified documents under the Presidential Records Act.
I had every right to have these documents.
Earlier in this Miami courthouse, Trump was silent as his lawyer entered a not guilty plea to 37 federal charges, including conspiracy and obstruction. Special counsel Jack Smith, who led the investigation, was sitting one row behind Trump. He accuses Trump of illegally keeping classified documents at his Mar-a-Lago resort, including secrets about U.S. nuclear programs. Some of the charges potentially carry decades in prison if Trump is convicted.
We've never seen anything like this in American history, but that's in part because we've never seen anything like Donald Trump. The combination of his towering influence in American politics, tens of millions of Republicans, will go lie down in traffic for him, and these character flaws that land him in so much trouble, this time criminal charges in a federal court. We've never seen anything like that. We are in uncharted waters.
Experts say one strategy to avoid conviction is for Trump to delay the process with appeals and then win the election.
He would be able to order his attorney general to dismiss the case if he's now the president and the case hasn't gone to trial. Even if there's still appeals pending, he could probably figure out a way to get rid of it if he wins.
The judge in the case, Judge Aileen Cannon, could play a major role in the pace of the trial. A Trump appointee, Judge Cannon ruled in favor of Trump in a previous hearing involving evidence in the documents investigation, but her ruling was overturned on appeal. After his arraignment yesterday, Trump stopped at a local Cuban restaurant to greet supporters before flying back to New Jersey.
On the flight home, having his usual meal of McDonald's, surrounded by aides and advisors watching news coverage. The heaviness of this not lost on him. I'm told Donald Trump is prepared to fight.
And it's unclear when the next legal developments in this case could come. Trump's defense team will likely file some pre-trial motions, which could include trying to dismiss the case or exclude certain evidence.
Despite losing a practice match 3-1 to Haiti on Tuesday, the Sugar Boys have used the experience to prepare for their encounter in the CONCACAF Gold Cup preliminary round, which begins on Friday against Curaçao. The practice match is one of 2 matches the Sugar Boys have played while in training camp in Florida, and coach Austin Deco Huggins said the match will be used to strengthen in applicable areas ahead of their crucial encounters. Now the team is preparing to move from their training base to Fort Lauderdale, the city of their Gold Cup prelims. St. Kitts and Nevis has been in this position before, on the cusp of qualifying for the CONCACAF Gold Cup, just missing out. This time, however, coach Austin Deco Huggins is confident the Sugar Boys will make the mark.
I'm very confident. The guys are very confident because we've been training hard, so based on what I have seen and the spirit of the team, we are quite confident, and we're gonna be giving a good showing. So there's nothing to be worried about. Curaçao, very good team. They played against high-level international teams on a regular basis, so they should have valuable experiences amongst themselves. I think they have players that played in some of the major leagues around the world. But nevertheless, the 11 balls is 11, and we always know that St. Kitts, small island, St. Kitts and Nevis federation, but we always compete against the big boys. So we have no fear. St. Kitts and Nevis is here.
Victory against Curaçao on Friday means the Sugar Boys will just need to defeat either French Guiana or Dutch St. Martin to make history and qualify for the CONCACAF Gold Cup for the very first time.